Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take your experiences, your notes, the things you send us, and really get into them.
That's right. And today, we've got something pretty special. It's a set of personal reflections from you, our listener, focusing on your time in Sedona, Arizona.
Sedona. Okay. So we're digging into your journey there. The notes you sent talk about the energy, maybe dimensions, and definitely learning about fear.
Exactly. Our mission, if you like, is to explore the significance of what you experienced, especially those moments where reality felt, well, different, and the big takeaways you had concerning fear.
Right. Let's start at the start. You make this point early on that places aren't just dots on a map. They have their own vibe, a
Yeah.
unique atmosphere.
Shaped by geology, history, maybe even the collective consciousness of people drawn there. And Sedona, according to your notes, is really potent in that regard.
You describe it as a place where the veil between dimensions feels thin enough to step through, you said.
And you felt that immediately, didn't you? Coming from Phoenix after a retreat. You noticed a real shift, a change in the, let's call it the energetic signature of the place.
Yeah, Sedona hit differently. The red rocks, obviously stunning, but you felt something more. You actually called their color a visible frequency. That's quite evocative.
It really is. It captures that sense of tangible energy, something you could almost perceive directly beyond just the visual beauty. When we talk about these energetic frequencies, it's that felt sense, a quality some people are sensitive to.
And Bell Rock, that seems to be where things got really intense. It's this famous formation, right?
Yeah.
Known for having a strong energy field.
Supposedly, yes.
Yeah.
A potent spot. You spend a day there, hiking up, and about halfway, that's when it happened.
This perception of another dimension.
Yeah. You're in the middle of this dry, red desert Arizona landscape, and suddenly you're perceiving an ocean with whales, dolphins right there.
And you were very clear this wasn't like a daydream or a hallucination.
No, you insisted it was a simultaneous perception. Both realities, the desert and the ocean, existing at the same time in the same space. What did that feel like? Just pure wonder, or was there any disorientation?
You didn't mention disorientation, more just acceptance. And you contrasted this direct experience with, say, science trying to figure it all out. You mentioned Stephen Hawking, multiple dimensions, his work as a sort of curious human approach.
Interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah.
The theoretical versus the directly felt. Science gives us models, equations.
Well, your experience was just there, immediate, sensory.
And you brought up the geology again. The red rock itself, full of finely crushed crystals, lots of silica. And the fact that our brains also contain a lot of silica.
Right. Could there be a connection, a sort of resonance?
That's the question you posed. Could the environment's properties, maybe through that shared crystalline structure, somehow interact with our own biology, tune us in differently?
Like how crystals are said to hold and transmit frequencies. Maybe the whole landscape there has this vibration.
That resonates with the silica in us. A sympathetic vibration, you called it. Potentially opening up perceptive channels we don't normally use. It's a fascinating thought.
And you felt completely right at home in that ocean dimension. You even described interacting with a whale gently.
It really paints a picture of a universe that might be, well, more fluid, more fantastical, as you put it, than our everyday assumptions allow. Makes you think about perception itself.
And this Bell Rock vision seems to have been a catalyst. Because just a week later,
Your friend David calls, out of the blue.
apparently, about a programming comp in Sedona
Hug.
for a pyramid project connected to someone named Mafu. And Mafu resonated with a past life feeling you had about Egypt.
Wow. Okay, so the vision, then this very specific resonant job offer pulling you right back to Sedona. It does feel like things were aligning.
Seems like it. So you ended up living right by Oak Creek.
Ah, the creek. You described the sound of the running water as this constant soothing energy, a grounding element maybe in such an intense place.
Yeah, perhaps balancing out the strong rock energy. You mentioned just working, hiking, exploring, really soaking it all in.
Immersing yourself.
Yeah.
And then came the fire walking.
Right. This ancient ritual, you framed it as something specifically designed to confront fear, to go beyond it.
Exactly. It's primal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Walking over glowing coals. It challenges our most basic survival instincts.
Yeah.
That deep, visceral fear.
You even helped build the fire. You described it as a communal act, focusing everyone's intention.
That collective focus is often a key part of these rituals, setting the stage. Then the ceremony, prayers, the leader goes first.
And then you went 40 people walking on these like intensely hot coals.
And you didn't just do it once.
No, 5 times, even with a hot coal stuck between your toes at one point.
Incredible. And no burns.
No burns? You put it down to the energy of focused intent. Overcoming fear, basically transcending the physical limitations.
That experience seems to have unlocked a really core insight for you about fear itself.
Yeah. The big realization wasn't just, wow, I walked on fire, but something deeper. That fears aren't really enemies.
More like signals, pointers.
Exactly. Signals of resistance, showing you the edge of your comfort zone. You realize that facing them, stepping into them, often reveals they don't actually have the power we give them.
Unless we feed them with our attention, our belief in their danger. So instead of roadblocks, they can be guides.
Right. Guides pointing towards growth. You even called fear a friend.
That's a powerful reframe. It reminds me a bit of therapeutic approaches, like exposure therapy, where controlled confrontation lessens fear's grip.
And you made a great connection to surfing big waves, how terrifying it was at first.
The raw power of the ocean.
But through training, conditioning, mental prep, just spending time out there, you learned to harmonize with it. You didn't eliminate the power, but you learned to navigate through the fear it induced.
And now you enjoy it. You feel at home, even in those challenging conditions. It's not about being fearless, but about moving with the fear with intention.
Precisely. So, walking on coals, paddling into a big wave, they're both about engaging directly. And that's where the transformation happens.
It really drives home the lesson. We all have fears. It's part of being human. But they don't have to paralyze us. Confronting them often shows they're less solid than they seem, and it opens up huge potential for growth.
And Sedona, for you, with the dimensional stuff at Bell Rock and then this intense fire walk, it really was a powerful forge, as you said, a place where these lessons about reality, fear, and the mind became incredibly tangible.
It makes me think of that quote you shared from Zoran.
Oh, yeah. Fear is a shadow cast by the light you have yet to embrace within yourself. Walk towards the shadow and you will find the sun.
Beautifully put. It captures that whole process perfectly.
And you offered a practical way for listeners, for you to work with this, the dragon trial exercise.
Right. So the first step is to identify a specific fear, something you feel is holding you back right now.
Then just acknowledge it. Don't fight it. Notice where you feel it in your body, what thoughts or images pop up with it.
Step 3 is interesting. Imagine gently embracing that fear. See it as a part of you trying to protect you, even if it's misguided. And actually thank it for its intention.
Then, the crucial part. Take one small, practical step towards the thing the fear is blocking. Just one tiny action.
And finally, just observe. Notice how taking that small step maybe shifts the fear's energy, even just a little bit.
It's a really gentle but potent way to start changing that relationship, moving from being stopped by fear to engaging with it differently.
Absolutely. Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. Think about your own life. What have been your Sedonas?
Yeah, those places or maybe experiences that felt unusually intense, challenging, maybe energetically charged.
How have those moments shaped your view of reality? And maybe more importantly, how have they shaped your relationship with fear? What lessons were forged in your powerful moments?
What explorations might still be waiting for you there? Something to maybe ponder on.